Welcome back to the Demon Slayer Gaming channel. We're going to be continuing our Final Fantasy XIV Dungeon Guide series today. We're going to be taking a look at Dohn Mheg. At the video, if this video helped you out at all, please make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out. Starting off with the trash pools in here, the Dohn Faust. As soon as you begin the fight, will begin channeling a interruptible ability that will buff one of the other enemies. So the first thing you should do is use your interrupt on him and then progress towards the next group. The basket enemies do have a circular AoE around themselves that you can just back out of. And they also do a tank buster ability called Straight Punch. The damage is not too bad, so you should be able to just tank it normally. Progressing into the next group, remember the first thing is to do to interrupt the little frog boy. You probably just want to increase the amount of healing going out at this time, as the large moth and the basket unit will both be using tank busters. For the first boss, Candy Cane will be a single target tank buster. So you'll want to either just pop a cooldown, or the healer can increase healing a little bit. Hydro Fall will be a large circular AoE on top of a party member that, if it hits, will deal damage and do a vulnerability debuff. Laughing Leap will make him jump to the center of the platform doing a small AoE. He will follow this up with Land Blood. This will do AoE damage to the entire team, and then start summoning geysers around the platform that originally will start off as small little water spouts and then explode into larger geysers. So you want to move off of these smaller spouts before the second explosion. After the water spouts, Landfall will start summoning 2 water orbs at a time. And then he will follow this up with Laughing Leap, which you'll need to group up to split the damage. When he leaps back to the center of the platform, he'll again start doing Land's Blood. So you'll want to dodge around the platform and avoiding the geysers. From here, the mechanics of the fight will repeat themselves, with Laughing Leap alternating between the geyser AoEs and a group up AoE, and then him using Candy Cane for the single target tank buster every now and then. In the next group, the Rowan tree units do have several AoEs, some being circular AoEs around themselves and others being cone AoEs. So you just want to avoid these. The Wasp, due to the sheer number of them, will do considerable damage, and they also each have a semi-long line AoE that you'll want to avoid. Getting hit by all of these will probably mean instant death due to the number of AoEs you'll be taking. Progressing into the next group, you'll want to make sure to interrupt the frog. The honey hunter, along with the two trees, will have their frontal cone AoEs you'll want to just step out of. And then the Rowan tree units will also have their circular AoEs they'll throw at random party members. For the second boss, he does have a instant wipe mechanic, so you will want to pay attention to that whenever we get to it. When he casts Swing, he will do a very large cone AoE on a random party member that you'll just want to move out of. He will follow this up with Fodder, which will summon multiple adds onto the platform. You cannot damage these adds, but they will tether to the boss, and you will need to put yourself in between them and the boss to remove the tethers. And when he's cast Timbery, he will receive a buff based on how many of them are still tethered to the boss himself, and you will also receive a buff if you are in one of the tethers. If the boss receives 4 of these tethers at any given time, then he will instantly wipe the entire team. Timber will just be a party-wide damaging ability that you'll need to heal through. Coiling Ivy will summon a painted root around each party member that will need to be killed so that you can continue to move around the platform and avoid the AoEs. The next time he casts Coiling Ivy, he will begin casting Fodder right afterwards. So you will need to kill the Ivies as soon as possible so that you can intercept the links from the ads. For the final area, you'll go up and click on the Shell Crown, which will turn itself into 3 enemies that you'll just need to kill. In the next part, there will be several of the frog units, but they will not buff like in the previous areas, so you don't have to worry about interrupting them. If you pull this entire 3-group pack, then make sure that you are rotating your tank cooldowns, as the damage will be quite large. The Kelpies both have circular AoEs they'll throw at random party members, and the Nade has circular AoE he can throw out along with a frontal cone. You'll want to try to avoid all of these, as the damage is already very high in this area. The last fight will have 2 of the bomb units, so you'll just want to make sure that you're avoiding their AoEs. As you can see here, they hit quite hard. The final boss also has an instant wipe mechanic, so we'll make sure to cover that thoroughly when we see it. Crippling Blow will just be a tank buster ability that you'll want to pop a tank cooldown to reduce some of the damage. Virtuous Capriccio will be a party-wide damaging ability that will also bleed the entire team, so this will do continuous damage afterwards. Imp Choir will turn anyone who is looking at the boss when it finishes casting into a small imp, and then he will face a random direction and start casting Toad Choir. You should move behind the boss at this time to avoid this ability. When he jumps to the front of the room and begins casting Funambulist Fantasia, he will knock the entire party away from him and stun them for a time so that he can remove the floor in the middle of the room. You have to walk across the very small platform to the other side of the room to be able to damage the boss. You have to be standing inside of the circle around him. It will take 2 to 3 party members, depending on their damage, to be able to break his Liar's Leer. If you do not break the Liar's Leer before Finale finishes casting, he will kill the entire team. If you fall off the platform, it will just put you back at the front, where you'll be able to try and walk around it again. After this, he will jump to the center of the platform and cast Changeling's Fantasia. This will morph him into one of the large octopus units. He will do multiple large circular AoEs that you just want to avoid standing in. When you cast Corrosive Bile, you'll want to move out from in front of the boss, as this will do continuous damage to anyone in front of him. Anytime he raises his tentacles up in the air, you'll want to position yourself in between the tentacles, as they will slam down in large line AoEs. These are untelevised, so you just need to watch your placement. When he turns back into his frog form, he will begin casting Virtuoso Capriccio multiple times in a row. So you'll want to group up for AoE heals, along with popping any sort of cooldown that will reduce damage taken. You'll want to look away for the boss again for Imp Choir to avoid that transformation, and then get behind him when he casts Toad Choir. The rest of the fight, he should rotate between Crippling Blow and Virtuosic Capriccio. So you just want to pop cooldowns when needed for different things, and AoE heal to reduce the Capriccio damage. But this should be it for Dohn Mheg. Hope this helped everyone out. If it did, please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out more than y'all probably understand. And I'll catch you on the next one.